Hello, my name is Darline Jean. This is my presentation on Compassion International for course LDR 630. Servant leadership differs from traditional top-down leadership in that it seeks to achieve authority and prosperity for an organization rather than accrue of power or control. The term was coined by the management author Robert Greenleaf after a reading of Herman Hesse' Journey to the East. In the novel, it is the humble servant who ultimately emerges as the true leader of a band of people who were on a journey. Authors like Ford and Harding and Keynes maintain that the defining factor of servant leadership is its emphasis on taking responsibility for the needs of others. Thus, this leadership philosophy has been embraced in organizations which seek a flat organization where employees are involved in the company's operations. Even though servant leadership has been criticized for its inability to develop central units of authority, it offers an alternative model of leadership that nonprofit organizations like Compassion International use to achieve their goals. Starting in the year 1952, Compassion International is a Christian and humanitarian organization whose primary operations revolve around developing and ameliorating the lives of children living in poverty around the world, relying on donation and funding from different groups of people from different parts of the world. It places its focus on using the Christian idea to provide holistic child development through sponsorship. In its work, it positions itself as Christ-centered, church-based, and child-focused. According to Current and other authors, servant leadership requires that the administrative apparatus of an organization prioritize the needs of its employee. It emphasizes the principle of collaboration, humility, listening, awareness, stewardship, and the use of alternative models of leadership. An analysis of the structure of Compassion International reveals that, indeed, the administrative structure runs the organization on principles of servant leadership. Firstly, the organization states that it bases its work on the model of leadership provided by Jesus Christ. As the work of management scholars like Bucci and Lewis has shown, the style of leadership that Jesus used was based on serving others. In his ministry, he did not use a top-down leadership style. He aimed to show that in any organization, the aim is to achieve the goal of the organization. To this extent, therefore, any person who can steer the organization to prosperity ought to have the opportunity of doing it through the use of the values of cooperation, collaboration, stewardship, and listening. Because Compassion International adopts the ideas of Jesus Christ, one can maintain that its approach to leadership will be one that is closely linked to steward leadership. The work done by Compassion International is done in partnership with local churches spread across the world. Here, Compassion International does not emphasize an approach where the people at the headquarters tell the local churches what they need to do. Instead, each local church is allowed to analyze the environment in which they live and then develop solutions that speak to the reality. The most valuable principles that I would consider within my organization. This approach is evidence of the tenets of servant leadership, such as cooperation, collaboration, humility, understanding. Additionally, people who work with Compassion International are encouraged to participate in its activity. Essentially, there is no task that is too low for an employee. This, too, is an example of servant leadership. In the end, therefore, one knows that its adoption of the ideas of Jesus Christ and leadership. The nonprofit organization manages to use servant leadership to transform the lives of impoverished children all over the world. Thank you for your attention and in your listening. Please note my references.